Revolution. Revolution can happen only in that manner if right thinking and common thinking people come together for a cause and take action. That is the first step of revolution.
How did that happen in a short span of less than 8 decades? We must introspect. Why is it that people who should not be anywhere in public life are today our leaders? We must think about this. How did this happen in such a short time? Think about it. 4 decades ago, in our city councils, in our state assemblies, in our national parliament, the kind of representatives who sat and governed our country. And then compare them to those who you send today to these elected bodies. And I think it is shameful for us that we over and over again elect the same kind of people who should be nowhere in public life. Because the only success in electoral politics today we see is the person who is able to manipulate the best, not the person who stands by ideas. Yes, some of them do stand by ideas, but that is a very minority. And today we notice Karnataka has suffered that of changing ideologies. You get elected on one party's symbol, within 6 months, because of the lust of power or money, the temptation of money, they change over. Maybe later on they change back. And your elected results, the value of your vote keeps getting diminished. And it is shameful that these kind of betrayers get re-elected to the voter, to the assemblies and things, even after they have betrayed the trust the vote placed in them by the voters. Forget about their betrayal of the party and everything. But their betrayal of voters is not punished by voters. It indicates how morally corrupt our society has become. Because Britishers or Pakistanis don't come to vote in our elections. Indians vote in our elections. And yet, each and every time we elect people who should never be seen in our public bodies. A majority of them, I'm not condemning everybody, but a lot of them are undeserving of even getting the support of 100 voters, let alone a majority of the voters in that constituency. And yet, they win with thumping majorities. It is because we ourselves, as a society, have become morally corrupt and ethically downgraded. We have to introspect why it is so easy for politically motivated people to sway us. I have heard stories about the polarization of Mangaluru. What good is it to remember that Mahatma Gandhi came to Mangaluru 3 times? If Mangaluru today is going to behave in such a radicalized manner, why is it that on one hand Mangaluru takes pride in claiming that Mahatma Gandhi visited Mangaluru thrice. And on the other hand, the dominant ideology in Mangaluru is the ideology of his borderers, the Rashtriya Swayamsevak Sangh. It is a matter of shame. Either the respect for Gandhi is false, or the message of Gandhi has been discarded. In either case, it is shameful. This is what we must all introspect on. Anyone who talks divisive ideology, anyone who preaches divisive messages is an anti-national. Remember that. No matter how much they claim to be patriots, they are anti-nationals because they do not respect our Constitution. Our Constitution, in its preamble, emphasizes, in its opening line, emphasizes unity, equality, and justice. Just ask yourself, in our public life, are any of those values reflected today? I know the subject I was given is relevance of Gandhi's ideology for today's youth. And I purposely talk about this because it is the responsibility of the youth today to bring India back to its senses. We have gone insane with hatred. Hatred on the basis of region, hatred on the basis of language, hatred on the basis of caste, hatred on the basis of gender, and of course, hatred on the basis of religion. And none of this is healthy for the future of India. It is a terminal illness that instead of love, fraternity, and unity, today hatred has become our creed. No country can survive if it is going to suspect the person sitting next to them. If we are going to ask ourselves whether the person sitting next to us is of our own caste or of our own religion, that means that we do not trust our fellow Indians. And this is a terrible symptom to have in a country which prides itself on being a multi-hued rainbow nation. Just imagine a rainbow with all the 7 bands of colors divided and separated. Would you still call it a rainbow? No. We only call it a rainbow and appreciate it because all the 7 colors, keeping their distinct identity separate, are united in forming that beautiful phenomenon of nature. Are we today that way? Or are we like 7 colors separated, not combining to become beautiful? Every day, not a single day passes before we read of news that is divisive, hateful, and ridiculous. A young boy is thrown out of school because he carries biryani in his lunchbox in Uttar Pradesh. Why is that acceptable? And just because it happened in Uttar Pradesh, why don't we feel angry in Karnataka? Is it not the same country? Are we not governed by the same constitution? A young boy, 1 year back, a young boy was punished by his school teacher, principal, by asking other young boys in that same class to slap him because he was a Muslim. And the principal kept abusing that young child while she was encouraging the other children to hit him hard. It was all on video. The shamelessness is that when today these kind of crimes are committed, they want to film themselves committing those crimes because they think it is their duty to do such things. And who taught them to do that? Those who are sitting in power in Delhi. It is because of the hate that the Prime Minister and the Home Minister of this country continuously popularized in their messages that people are getting swayed and turning insane. A policeman murders Muslims traveling in a train, whom his duty is to protect. He is on that train because he has to protect the passengers. What does he do? Use his duty weapon, find out Muslim passengers and shoots them dead. And what do the other non-Muslim passengers do in that train? They take videos of it. In Indore, on a busy thoroughfare, in broad daylight, a woman is raped. People stand and watch the rape being committed, and some of them even film that rape being committed. What kind of society are we living in? Do we have a right to even call ourselves civilized? Not 4 people in that crowd thought that they could grab that rapist and protect that woman. That was the rapist so powerful that even 4 people could not overpower him and arrest him and put him, throw him away aside. Forget about beating him up. What kind of cowardice is this? Why have we become like this? We are the same people. We are the descendants of the same people who fought the mighty British, whether it was the non-violent Satyagrahi or the revolutionary. We fought the almighty British and threw them out of our country. And today we are scared of even fighting off criminals. We call this Amrit Kal. What kind of Amrit is this? I'm sorry, I have nothing good to say today. Because our society forces people like me to try to become mirrors that reflect the reality of what we are becoming today ourselves. Someone very correctly said crime is not successful because the criminal is an expert. But crime succeeds because the witnesses remain quiet. They decide that it is not their responsibility to fight against that crime. Today, why don't we stand up when we see injustice being done to our fellow citizens? Why do we have to find out their caste and community before coming to their rescue? Think about all this. Think where we have reached in a short span of just about 78 years. Why have we deteriorated and degraded as a nation to this extent? Mob lynching happens, innocent people are lynched and killed. And we say, okay, it didn't happen in my city, it didn't happen in my area, it didn't happen in my state, so I'm not bothered. It is happening in our country, and with every crime, our country is being degraded, our country is being divided, our country is being fragmented. It doesn't matter after that if you fly your flag, the Tiranga. Remember, invisible stains of the blood of those innocent victims is on that Tiranga too. Because we kept quiet. We did not stand up for the truth. And just imagine, if when Shahid Bhagat Singh, Chandrasekhar Azad, Subhash Chandra Bose, and Mohandas Karamchand Gandhi stood up and called for the Indians to fight for freedom. If the present day generation had been living over there, I don't think even one person would have stood up and said, okay, we are ready to fight with you. And those people would have been called mad people who had nothing better to do. Because people like me today, who have the courage to at least tell the truth, are considered to be mad. Invitations to me get cancelled more than my appearance. When I am invited today, I only believe it when I am standing on the stage, that then I will be allowed to speak. Because they come up with ingenious excuses to cancel my invitation because they are afraid of what I will speak. Because they cannot control my tongue. We are talking about with Modi 3, the debate about unified civil code has been restarted. Why is it that wherever in all the states where the unified civil code has been applied, changes have only been made to the Muslim personal laws, whereas every community has their own personal laws? If it has to be a uniform civil code, then why are not all the specific personal laws being erased to be replaced by truly secular laws? Nobody is talking about that. It is such a big change that will come if this ruling party in the center is allowed to get away with it. We have forgotten that in a democracy, debate is the most essential procedure for any change to happen. That is why we have houses of representatives, whether it is in the state or in the center. Why is it that all the major changes that this government in the center has implemented in the last 3 terms, 2.5 or 2 and a little bit more term that they have been in power, been passed without parliamentary debates, by minority votes in the parliament, or by ordinance, which are all anti-democratic processes? Why on the streets are we not raising our voices saying we will not allow these kind of undemocratic procedures to be acceptable, and we will reject the law changes to the constitution and new laws that you have brought in without ethical parliamentary processes? We have to now say ethical parliamentary processes because the new parliamentary process that Modi and his combine have brought about is undemocratic and unparliamentary. And we have accepted it without raising a murmur. Indira Gandhi also experimented with authoritarianism. She suspended the constitution and brought in emergency. It was a first step towards autocracy, towards dictatorship. But she understood because her upbringing was democratic. She realized that it was wrong. She was also made to realize it was wrong. But for somebody who is that powerful at that time, the ego is much more than